Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be painting 3 little magnolia pictures. If you'd like to paint along, these are going to be painted in acrylic. I have provided the line art down in the description. There's a link for it there, so if you want to paint along, you can. It's a nice little project, so if that's something you'd like to do, download the files, come back and we'll paint the flowers. Canvases. Obviously we need the canvases. These are, I'm pretty sure they're 8 by 8 square. You'll need the line art, which you can download with the link below. And we'll need some brushes. Now I've got 3 here, I don't know if I'll use them all. I've got a round, number 10, I've got a round, number 5, and I've got a medium angled brush. I have got a palette to do some mixing. And we have got some titanium white, some cadmium red, some ultramarine blue, and some sap green. So don't worry if you haven't got the exact colours, as long as you've got, red, white, blue, green, you should be fine. So I think I will start with this one. And I will change my camera angle, so hopefully that you can see everything I'm doing, as well as my palette and everything else. And I will zoom in. So have fun with this. I hope you enjoy. Okay, I'm also going to use some burnt umber and some cadmium yellow. Just a touch of each. Okay, I've got my water and I've got a paper towel. Okay, I'm going to start with the large round brush, and because we are working on a black background, I am going to just fill in some of these lighter petals. I'm going to get these petals filled in with some light colour, so it's just because this is so dark, this will give us a nice base to work on. So you don't have to be neat about this at all. I'm just blocking in the leaves at the moment, the petals rather. You can see how transparent this titanium white is. I did the line drawing with a white charcoal pencil. So I mean you can go over the lines, but if you don't, that will rub off really easily. They're really easy, just fill in the shapes of all of the petals. Last one. And a good thing about acrylics, of course, is it dries pretty fast. So you can get another layer on quite quickly. And this here is a petal as well. It's like a folded over petal, so get that one in as well. Okay, the ugly stage. There. I'm taking a smaller brush. I'm just going to come in and I'm going to mix some of that burnt umber with a touch of the ultramarine, and that should give us a nice deep brown. And we're going to use that for the, I mean there's not much of a branch on there, but we're going to block that branch in there. Okay, and I'm going to take some of this green and I am going to mix a tiny bit of the burnt umber in. And also some of the yellow. And we are going to come in under here and block this underneath, which is the base, isn't it, of the flower, in like so. And I'm going to take it a little bit up the stem as well. Now I think because I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to set that aside. And I will make a start on this one. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. So I'm going to come in with the white. I'm going to block these petals, keep calling them leaves. I'll block these petals in just as we did before, just to give us a base to work on. I'm doing these individually, so they can still see where the individual petals are rather than painting it all white, if that makes sense. So if I can show you here, I'll put this one in like this. When we come back to put our next coat of paint on, you can still see the different petals. If you just kind of coloured it all in white, then you would lose where all your markings are and everything. So this is actually a petal. And this behind here is a petal as well. There we go. Just make sure you've got quite a good coverage on those. And again, I'm going to come back in with a smaller brush. I'm just going to get in. There's hardly any branch on this one, but back into the brown that we made. Just put that little branch in there. And there. Into the green. And there's the smallest amount of green on the bottom of this one. See, I've missed a section there, so I'll come back and do that. Use the small. Don't know how I managed to miss that part, but there we go. Put that in there. Okay, that's the second one. Put that to the side. Third one. Make sure I've got it in frame. There we go. It actually goes that way, that one. There we go. Same thing again. That blocked in. Nice big petals on this one. But you can see how quickly you can do these. Obviously there's a lot more detail to add on them, but you don't have to do these on the black if you don't want to. You can do them on the white. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how can you do white on white? But you could, because these are not going to be completely white. little one that's behind that one there. And then this one is kind of like a twisted petal. I don't know why that word keeps escaping me. It's kind of curled up a touch, this one, so we will add that shape to it once we're on the details. So that's that one, and there's one here, and that's kind of folded over as well, so it's kind of there. Now the centre of this one has got the inner part of the flower, so we'll put that in afterwards. Okay, so same thing again, we'll put the branch in. Like so. That blocked in there. So we'll get a touch of that green. And we'll just get a little touch of that under there. Okay, so that's all three of those done. Now, we'll go back to the first one. This one is touch dry now. I think what we're going to do is we're going to mix a little bit of that red in with this white. Okay, so I've got some more white. And I'm going to add some of this, not a lot, just a small amount, to this new white that I've just put on the palette. And we just want to tint it off of the pink, but we want to keep this pink for the details, so we want this to be extremely pale pink. Okay, so I've just rinsed and dried my brush. We're going to come in with this really pale pink that we've just mixed, and I think the first one we will do is this big back petal. So I'm going to start filling that in with this light pink that we've just made. I know it doesn't look very pink, but it is ever so slightly pink. This goes almost, it goes right up to this lower edge there. You want to follow the shape around the petal. I'm going to come down to this one. Right, okay. I'm going to pick up some of this darker pink. I didn't clean my brush off, straight into the pink. And I'm going to start adding in some detail of the pink on the base of the petal there. I'm not sure how well this is showing up on camera. We'll need to add another layer to this. Okay, and this one now, same thing, pick up some of that pink, and in the lower part of that petal, just going to add some of that pink on the lower half of that petal. Back into the light pink, and I'm going to come up to this petal. Another layer on there. And this one kind of goes behind this one. So I'm going to come down there like that. And then it kind of comes over this way. And we're going to get some of the darker pink. Again, I'm not cleaning off my brush. And just on this edge, we are going to put a touch of that darker pink colour there. Now we are going to come back and put another layer on this. I wasn't too sure how much this black would show through, but it obviously is. Okay, I'm going to come up to this one. Okay, and same thing again. And on the lower part, we're going to put some of that darker pink. And we're going to just come up this edge with the darker pink. Okay, back into the lighter pink. Get this one put in. like so. And just put some of that darker pink more to the centre of this one. Okay, I'm just going to wipe the darker pink off my brush and pick up the lighter pink again. Come back into here. And then the darker pink is going to go almost halfway across this one because it's kind of folded over this one. Like so. So this edge is kind of curling up. That'll all become clear the more we put on. Back into the lighter pink. And the same thing with this one that we just did with this one, so it's the lower half where we're adding the darker pink. Okay, and we've got one more to do. And because the folded leaf is the one that's closest to us, this is the lightest leaf. So we're back into this light pink. I'm just going to curve it around there. Like so. And we're going to take a tiny bit of the darker pink and we're just going to put that up the centre. There. So that's the second layer of the lighter colours. Now I'm going to come back in with the brown. And I'm going to just go back over this branch. And this time, while we're still wet, we are going to take a touch of the yellow onto our brush. Tiny, tiny amount of yellow on the brush. And we are just going to go down one side of that to lighten that edge up there. And now we're picking up the green. And we are putting the green back in. So that is the second layer of our first one done. And I hope you can see the difference. Let me just show you. That was our first layer. So I'm going to set this aside to dry. You can see the pinks. It's quite difficult to see on this camera. I'm going to set that aside now to dry because I'm going to come in with the final layer and I'm going to put all the details and everything in on the final layer. So again with the second one. Okay, so we're going to go with this one first. So we're going to pick up some of that lighter pink that we made. Okay, get that covered with a lighter pink. And we're just going to put a touch of the darker pink down the centre of this one. Like so. Back in with the lighter pink. Now I'm going to come to this one over here. Again, this one is tucked behind this one and this one, so that's why it's a bit of an odd shape. That's that one in there. I'm not going to add any of the dark pink to this one because this one's quite light. Okay, now this one is kind of curling over at the edge, and this bottom part is a lot pinker than this top edge. So first, going to get this folded part put in. Which is quite light. And then moving down to this part. Apologies if you can hear my dog in the background. Okay, some of this darker colour on the bottom part of this one. Now I'm putting this colour in, I mean you probably can't even see it on the camera, and this is more so that we can see where we're going to put these details in on this final layer. So just where it folds it's darker. So yeah, don't worry about making it too neat or anything, because this is just with the second layer, nothing too fancy. Now this one here has got a dark pink bottom as well, so I'm just gonna keep going with what I've got on my brush, which is the dark pink. And now I'm going to put the white, or the lighter, should I say, not white, the lighter pink on the top. I'm not going to rinse my brush out. I'm going to do the big one first because this is behind this little one here. So again, we're just blocking these in, and all the lovely detail and everything comes at the end. Okay, so we've got some darker pink at the bottom of this one. Just put that in there. And we've got this little one here, which is quite light all on its own. That put in there like that. And it has got little vein details and things to add afterwards. This one now. And the darker pink on the bottom, almost on the bottom half of this one. And on this last layer, we're going to do a nice blend of the white and pink and put all the veins on. And okay, so we've got this one left, which is quite light, and we've got this one left, which is quite light, but it's got a darker kind of part there, and it's got an almost brown kind of part there, which I don't know if I'm going to put in because it looks a bit like it's dying off, so I think we'll leave that out of it. We will use our artistic license and not put the dead leaf in. Okay, we've got a little bit darker at the bottom here where it kind of is going to fold over, which you will see when we come to do that. And then I'm going to come back in. I've just about got enough mixed. I'm going to get the smaller brush so that I can get in. There's no green on there. So I can get this folded part. That's going to kind of fold over there that way. Like so. And some darker straight down the middle of that one. And I think I am going to put some down there. I might even put a little bit on this one because it hasn't got any, so I'm going to put some dark pink there. just going to sharpen up this edge. Better. In with the brown. Put that branch in. There. And make a little bit there, didn't we? And then with the brown still on, pick up a little bit of that yellow and just sweep it up there. Pick up some green. The smallest amount of green under there. Like so. So that's the second one. This is the final one, so you can see the difference that we've got there. So I'll put this one up to dry. And this will be number 3. Okay, so I'm going to just put some more of that white on there. And I'm just going to bring some of that pink over there again. And for this one, which is that way round, this one is actually quite light, but I'm going to again use my artistic license and add some pink just so they all tie in together. So this one first. And this one's tucked right in there. Pick up some of that darker pink. Add some of that darker pink there. And I think next is this one. And we've kind of got curled leaf coming over this one. So I'm going to try and fit that in. Okay. Come behind that there. Pick up some of that darker pink again. And on the lower half, just add some of that pink in. And back to the light. I'm not washing my brush. I'll do this big one. Again, this one's tucked kind of behind everything else. like so. Now this time we're going to get that pink and we're going to come halfway, more or less, down this side, like that. There we go, picking up some of that light pink again. Some of the darker pink on the lower half, like so. And then we've got this odd kind of curly leaf here. So it's very, very light on that little edge. And this edge. So that's the lighter parts. And then I'm going to mix in some of that darker pink and bring it over there. And on this part there. Okay, to this one. Darker pink on this outside edge. And back to the lighter pink for this folded kind of leaf. So this is the lighter part. And then the darker pink is on that folded edge there. Again, this is really just a guideline for where we're going to go with the final coat. And while I've got that dark pink on, this leaf, why do I keep calling it a leaf? Petal is darker, so I'm not using any of the light pink on this one. I'm just using the darker pink. Put that in behind there. Back into the brown. A tiny bit of that yellow. And then green, tiny bit there. And there's a tiny bit under there as well. There is also some in the centre here, but we're going to do that with the next layer. I'm going to let them dry now. We should have 3, and we do. So let me move my palette out of the way and show you where we are so far, or where we should be. Okay, so it's the next day. I have let the canvases dry overnight just to make sure. I have added some more paint to my palette. I've mixed up a light pink and a darker pink. I've got a tiny amount of green, tiny amount of brown and a tiny amount of yellow. I've also added a detail brush for the veins and the little bits and bobs that are going to go onto these flowers. I've also picked up a dagger brush. I've still got my large round, which I'm predominantly going to use. We're going to do more or less the same thing, except this time we're going to put probably wet on wet, and we're going to put the pink details that we put in yesterday. We're going to add those wet on wet so we get a nice finish on those. So I'm just going to wet my brush, dab it off on the paper towel. And I'm going to take this lighter pink and I'm going to go in on this big leaf at the back here. So we're going to come in and we're just going to fill in the shape as we did yesterday. Okay, now we're going to pick up a tiny amount of that darker pink and we are going to add it into the wet lighter pink. So we get this nice blended effect. I mean, you can make these as pink as you want, really. There. I'll come back in and get some more of that lighter pink. And I'm going to come over to this one. So the darker pink is going to be on the bottom edge of this petal. So this is the lighter pink again. So I'm just taking note of where I put the darker pink yesterday. And it's more of a map for me, really, so that I don't need to keep referring back. Okay, and again, I'm going to pick up the smallest amount of the darker pink. And I'm going to come in at the bottom again, and this edge here, I'll just drop that in and then blend that in with the lighter colour. Probably a bit too much there. If you feel like you've done too much, just pick up some of the lighter colour again and get it to blend in. Okay, back to the lighter pink. And to this one, now this is a folded, it's kind of folded over, it looks a bit like a shell. So first we'll get the shape in. You want to come up as close to the other petal as you can. We're not aiming to see any black between those. Okay, now we pick up a tiny bit of the darker pink, and what you want to do is you want a line, because this is a folded petal. You want to put in as straight a line as you can, so it gives that effect that it's curled over at the edge there. We can come back in with a detail brush and get that a bit better in a minute. There. Back to the light pink again. We've got another curled leaf here, so it's this tiny edge there that's going to be curled over, so you can get this side in. Again, you want to go as close up as you can to that other petal. And then that last little bump there is going to be in the darker pink. And that's just where it's kind of folded over there. Okay, now this centre leaf is quite light, so back to the lighter pink. We're going to go right up to the bottom of those other ones. Okay, small amount of the darker one, and then just a little way from the edge, I'm just going to put a little line, so it's giving the appearance that it's curled over there. Lovely. Back to the lighter pink. We've got this large black petal. And small amount of the darker pink to the centre, lower centre of this one. And just try and blend it with the lighter colour, like so. And then a small amount for the top. If you feel it's not blending properly, rinse your brush off and come back in and just encourage it to blend in like that. Back into the lighter pink. So we know this one's got a darker pink edge down there because before I put this on I saw that darker edge there. So that's why I do that, so I know where I'm going now with the darker pink. I do the same thing with the pastels as well. I put little sort of maps in for myself. You don't have to do that, of course. If you're art, you do it your way. Some people might think that was a waste of time, me putting the pink on before, but that's just the way I do it. Right up to the other petal, a small amount of the dark pink, and then we're going to come down this edge with that darker colour. Try and get a smooth blend between the two. Back into the light, and this is another curved leaf here, so we're going to do this time. So we're going to do like a half crescent. Did you see that part was darker that I'd left? So I could see the shape that I needed before I put this pink on. I could see where I was going with the pink, if that makes sense. Okay, right onto this one, and then this time the darker pink on that top curve to give the impression that that leaf is petal. Why do I keep calling it a leaf? It's folded over, and then while you've still got a little bit on the brush, I just want to put a little bit there. Now that is, to all intents and purposes, the actual petals finished. Just make sure you've got no obvious gaps there. I can see a couple. Okay, so I'll swap into my smaller brush. Just get that wet and tap it off on my towel. Now I'm going to come in with the green, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the green on, and then I'm going to come in with some yellow on this bottom edge. So into the green. I believe this is a sap green. Part way onto the start of the branch there. And then I'm not going to clean my brush. I'm going to come into the yellow. Get the smallest amount of yellow. And we are going to blend that in. In a kind of leaf shape there. And add some more if you need to. And then on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. So we've got two kind of leaf shapes there. And rinse that off. I'll come into the brown. I'm going to put the branch back there. Slightly blend that into that green. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick up some yellow. I've picked up a little bit of green there as well, doesn't matter. Just on the top edge and in between those two leaf shapes. We're going to just add a little bit more brown. And now all we've got left on this one to do really is the centre, the little centre shape. But I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to wait for that to dry. And then we're going to come back in and we're going to put the centre on. And I'm going to put some highlights and things on. So I'll just stand that one to the side. And we will get this one. Okay, so we're just going to repeat basically what we've just done. So where we put our lights yesterday and our darks, we're going to repeat today. I'm going to go light pink onto the petals, and then in where we've got the dark pink, we're going to put the dark pink, but we're going to blend it into the light pink like we've just done. So I'm just going to do that. You can follow along. I'm going to start with this large back petal. So into the light pink. You can possibly hear my dog snoring in the background. So picking up some of the dark, and we're going to blend that into the light. If you don't feel like it's blending properly, rinse your brush off. Dry that onto a paper towel, and then come back in and just, with a light touch, blend that in like so. Okay, next, this one. Small amount on that one. To the light. I think I want to get this. I'm going to do this one next because this is quite an odd shape, this one, so you'll possibly hear some banging in the background as well. And that will be my partner out the garden, putting the insulation into the new art studio. So it's all fluffy inside. I did ask him if he could leave it like it because I quite like the idea of having a fluffy art studio, but Okay, so this one, we'll refine these shapes. This one's got quite a bit of dark pink on, so it's got quite a lot on the bottom here. And it kind of, I'm going to be adding lots of veins and things to these after, but there we go. I'm going to rinse that off because that's got quite a lot of the dark pink on it. Okay, I think I want to get this odd shaped petal on here. Oops, picked up a lot of water there. Picking up the dark. The whole of this lower petal is this darker pink. And then it kind of blends into the lighter colour, so I'm just going to blend those together. Like that, and then a tiny bit more the darker pink. And that will give an indication that that is curling up that way. I'll come back in and make that darker, a bit more prominent there. Okay. So this one is the same. It's not quite as oddly shaped as that one, but it's the same in as much as it's lighter at the top and then very, very dark at the bottom. So let's do the top. Okay, into the darker. And then we're going to blend that up into the lighter pink. And then a touch more on this edge here. and also down that edge there. So blend that in. Like so. And these last petals are quite light, with the exception of this one. In with the light pink. Do this big one first. And we've got just a small, probably too much, dark pink on that lower edge. Okay, now this one. And pick up some of that darker pink, and that is going to go on this edge that is just curled over there. Now I'm just going to take a damp brush and neaten that edge there. Just a touch on the other side. And then finally, you have this one, which is most definitely curled over. So we're going to come in with a little bit of light there. And I'm actually going to swap to my smaller brush here because that's quite a fiddly part. And I'm going to pick up some of the darker pink, and we are going to fill in the rest with the darker pink. So that one's kind of curled over. A little bit more of the darker pink, not too much. And down the centre of that petal there. Now, rinse off. And just like we did with the last one, we're going to get some brown. There's only a tiny little branch on this one, but we're going to put it in. There. And then we're going to pick up some of this, I believe it's cadmium yellow, and we're just going to add a touch of that to the top side of the branch. Pick up some green, and we are going to come in and add a touch of green just under there. And then with the green still on our brush, we're going to pick up a tiny bit of brown, and we're just going to add a little bit under there, like so. That is the second one filled in. So we've got one more to do, and then it's all the fine details. Pop that one to there. This one, which actually goes this way. Okay, so I've just got myself some fresh water and a fresh paper towel. And I've got my water. I don't know if you can see this. This used to be half of a large blackcurrant bottle, and I just chopped the top off. And the reason that I wanted it for my water is, can you see in the bottom? It's got, it's like almost like embossed, and that's really good for rinsing off your brush, because you've got something to kind of work against, if that makes sense. Okay, last one. So I think I'm going to come into this petal first. As we can see, I don't know how clear it is to see on the camera. This petal is light with a pink in the middle, and then we've got this petal, which is predominantly lighter pink with pink down this edge, lighter on the top, pink at the bottom, lighter on the top, and then we've got pink on this edge, lighter pink here. This I think is just dark pink, and a small amount there. So we're just going to follow this map that we put on yesterday, today for you, yesterday for me. So in with the light pink. And pick up some of that dark pink. I'm going to go right up the centre, like that. And then I'm going to rinse my brush off. Tap it on the paper towel so that the water is the main part out. You want it dripping. And then we're going to blend those two together. Like so. And back into the light pink. And I think we'll just go in order with this one. It's funny how they're all the same flower, but very different. dark, not quite as much as the last one, but same sort of place up the centre. And blend it out. This one is predominantly light. It's got a little bit of dark there, and then we're gonna put the centre of the flower in there anyway. So into the light. Pick up some of the pink. Blend. Okay, back into the light. We've got one of those funny little curled leaves on this one, so petals. Oh my goodness me. Okay, so this goes kind of behind this funny little shaped one there. So we want some of the dark at the base again. There's a little crescent shape at the top there that's dark to indicate the folded over petal. And now, while I've still got that dark, I'm just going to pick a little bit more up. I'm going to come to this one because this is all dark pink here. Rinse off. the light. Like that. Okay, this one, we've got light on this side. Got some dark. Okay, this little one is predominantly dark behind here, so I'll come in with a darker pink, put that in there. And I'm going to pick up a touch of the lighter. I'm just going to come in with my small brush and some of the lighter colour, just to get in here where I didn't quite get in as well before. So this final petal, we've got a light side here, and a light side here. And it's kind of curling over like that. Pick up some darker for this edge. And this edge. Okay, back to the small brush. Pick up some brown. Our branch back in. small touch of that yellow, and we're going to just blend that along that edge there. Pick up some green, and we've got a touch of green here, and a touch there, just where it's peeping out there. Okay, so that is all three done for the petals. Come back to number 1 here, and it's that way round. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come in with some white. I'm just going to add a tiny amount of white, and I'm going to come in with this dagger brush. Wasn't sure if I was going to use it, but I'm going to put some highlights in. So you don't need to use this. You could use an angled brush. If you've got a straight brush, you could use a detailed brush. I'm just doing what I prefer. So we're just going to load up, hello pussycat, with some white. And just on a few of these petals, we're going to add some highlights. So we're going to go around the very edge on some of these, and we're going to come in and put some highlights on the edge, like so. Adding a little tiny bit of water to this to make it a bit more free running. Down the centre here, I'm going to add some highlight. On the edge of this large petal here. I'm going to come along this folded leaf here and add highlight in there. Okay, this curled leaf, we're going to do the same. Highlight there, and even on that darker pink. This centre curled leaf, petal even. Under the dark pink there. The outer edge of the darker pink there, and top edge of the lighter pink there. Just here, I want to bring this in, this highlight, just a bit more curved down there. And also this here, curved down like so. And I think for the most part that is it for those highlights. So I'm gonna grab the others and do the same. Hopefully you can see the difference that's made, just adding the highlights in. So I'm going to do this one as well now. So add a little bit more water to keep it fluid. And I'm going to add a highlight on this curled edge and down the edge there. Okay. We are going to add a highlight all the way on the edge of this petal here. And we're going to bring it into there. So let's just neaten that up a bit because I've gone a bit. Okay. And this one. And some highlights to that petal there, and a few on this one. This top one. On the top edge of that one there. Like so. And so we got one here. Now this one, you've got a curl that comes up and over there, like that. Okay, and then this one here, should brighten up the centre of that because that's catching the light there as well. So brighten that. There we go. Let's just neaten that bit there. So that's that one. And then last but not least, a touch more water. We've got this one, and we've got the light catching all the way down this side. And it's just the top edge of this one, the top side rather, it's catching. And same with this one. And then this odd one here. Okay, we've got up there, and then it kind of curls around there, and this is a lot brighter here, and also here, and on this, and there, this bottom edge, and it's kind of drag that in. And then this one behind is more or less in the shade. Just the edge there. And this one is all the way around this part. And the top edge of that one. All right. That's better. Right, so that's that one done. And now bring this first one back. All we want is the detail to be put in here. So we'll take a bit of the red, and we want to add quite a lot of the yellow, some brown, and I'm just going to wet my detail brush, and a little bit of water so we're free of moving. Okay, now we're going to come in the centre of this lovely magnolia, and I'm just going to map in where it's going to go. So there, just there like that. And then we're going to pick up a tiny bit of the yellow, And it's got these little kind of spiky a little bit of the brown. And just come in and a little bit more detail on there. Like so. Okay, now I'm going to rinse off. I'm going to come into this dark pink and add some water to make it a little bit more fluid. Use my brush for this. Okay, so add some water to get it thinner. I might even pick up a bit more of that, darken it up a little tiny bit more. Okay, so coming in with a detail brush, what we're going to do is going to pick up some of that dark colour, and then in various places we're just going to add some little details of the veins and things that are running up. Yeah, I need to go darker. Okay, we definitely need to be darker, but don't want to go too dark. That's the problem. We don't want to go red, so I need to come down here. There, that should be fine. Okay, I've got a lot of water in there. Just adding the veins. That one's done. And this one, we can't see any of the flower centre on this one, but there are plenty of veins and things, so we want to come in here and just add some of those darker veins in there. Okay, let's off that darker colour for a minute. Just going to touch up, I can see here. It was a bit darker there than I wanted. That's better. Into the dark. Okay, that's that one. And then finally, this one. Now this one, in the centre of this magnolia, we've got a little tiny bit of green, so I'm just going to hardly any on my small brush here, and I am going to come in and just add some green in there, like that. Rinse off my brush, and I am going to pull it up into the pink, because it's actually part of the petal. This is just a slightly different angle of it. So there, that's better. That kind of blends in. And now we're going to take this centre colour that we made, and we are going to put this inner cone, as it were, kind of in here. Like that. Pick up a little bit of this yellow. And a little bit of this brown. A few little spiky protrusions. There. It's actually got a little bit of green on the top, so there we go. And now we'll just pick up this, add some water because it's gone a bit dry. And put some of these veins on this one. There, and I think I'm going to call that done. Let's see what we've got. So we have now, I always had the intention when I did these initially was for that one to go that way because of the stem, that one to go that way. I'm going to zoom my camera back in a second so you can see all of them. That will fit in there. Right, let's take my camera up. You can see, hopefully you can see. Let's move that out of the way. And there we go, 3 magnolias. You can see the inside of this one and the inside of this one. And this one we can't see any inside. And it's coming in from a different angle. So, I mean, that was the way they were initially set out. You can, of course, have them however you want them. It was nice to do something different. Although I am itching to get back to animals. And I'm itching to get back to pastels as well. And I've got another video coming possibly tomorrow where I'll be unboxing some new pastels, and then we will be drawing an animal of some description. If you've got any comments as to what you'd like to see me paint with pastels animal wise, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a little bit different, but it was fun to do. It was quite relaxing. I seem to have been, I don't know, maybe it's because it's summer, but I seem to have been attracted to the floral side of things lately. I did a little watercolour poppy yesterday, and I'm really noticing the flowers everywhere. I think it's because it's summer, but it's definitely time for me to get back to the pastels because that's what I really love. Not that I don't love this, but pastels is my thing. Let me know if you painted along. Thank you so much for all your comments and your subscriptions. It really does mean the world to me. And if you've enjoyed this, I will be doing more acrylics in the future. There definitely will be some painting going on. So if you don't want to miss that, hit the subscription, you'll get the notification when I upload them. But keep an eye out for my pastel unboxing. I'm so excited about that. I might even do a quick swatch with them, and then we'll decide which animal to do. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.